Now that we've seen how to work with an empty project, we're going to create a copy of that project so that we can test authentication, data storage, and some basic search capability. So from here, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go to my home directory by typing CD and just hitting enter. Then I'm going to make a new directory. We'll call it Profiles, and I'm going to go into the Profiles folder, this Profiles directory, and I'm going to copy everything from CS1520 empty, and we're going to go ahead and get everything there, and we're going to copy that into this folder. So now in Profiles you should see the basics of an empty project. Now to make sure that we're editing the right files, we're actually going to add a new folder to our workspace. We want to add this new folder. We'll call it Profiles. We'll grab that. And let's make this a little bit smaller so we can see our buttons. There we go. We're going to open that. And we can remove empty from our workspace now because we just want to work on this one project. So this will allow us to concentrate on this one particular area. So we have this project now. We can start working in this particular project, but we're going to need a GCP project here. So let's go ahead and set that before we go any further. We're going to type gcloud config set CS1520 or set project. I always forget the project keyword. So now when we do that, you should see in parentheses we have our project set. So to set up our authentication, the first thing we're going to want to do is open up a web browser. So I'm going to open a browser, and I've got a nice shortcut for it, gr1.me/Google sign-in. And this will take you to the page that explains how to set up this Google sign-in. So from here, we can configure a project. We're going to click that button. We're going to pick CS1520 out of this list, just for a sample here. And we're not going to be calling from the web server or desktop app. We're actually going to use the web browser. And this is going to come from cs1520.appspot.com. We create this, and this will give us our client configuration. So we're going to use this in just a second. So let's copy this and we'll bring it over here. I'm going to go ahead and put it in my main file for now. So I'll create a variable for this, client ID, and we'll go ahead and save that, and our client secret. Now, ordinarily, you wouldn't want to expose these to the rest of the world, but I can always come back in and delete this authentication later. So no worries here for example purposes. We can also take a look at our console as well, but right now I don't think we need to get into that just yet. So the next thing we're going to want to do is load the Google Platform Library. So we're going to copy this script tag here. We're going to go back into our static templates, go to our base, and we're going to put this right up above the rest of our script files. So now we've included the necessary JavaScript so that we can sign in users using this Google authentication. Next, we're going to set a meta tag. So we're going to take this particular content and we're going to put the meta tag in, and we can put the meta tag in anywhere, but we're going to go ahead and start it off above everything else. And here we want to enter our client ID. So we could go through the process of including that by our template, but we can also just right now, for simplicity, we're just going to put it in there directly. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to go into my base, and I'm putting it here so that every file that we use that's going to be a HTML file, a rendered HTML template file, is going to include this based on everything being part of base here. So now that we have that, we can we'll go ahead and create a new login page, and we can copy this, and we'll go ahead and create a new file in our templates. We'll call this one login.html, and we can save that so that we have our button, and we can go ahead and put our base. So let's go ahead and copy this code. We just copy this all. So we'll extend our base and we'll do all that. So we'll go ahead and put this here, and then we can move this button right up to where we had the welcome message there. So now we have this login page, and in order for us to actually see it, let's go ahead into our main and we'll route something new here. So again, we can just copy and paste to start things off easily, and we'll paste this here and we'll call this login, and we'll send this one to login.html. So now we should have, we need to change the function here, the function name. So now we have a new page. We should be able to test that out just to take a look at it quickly. We should have our page properly set up here, and we've created the login, but we actually want to see that this was successful. We want to make sure that we actually can do something with it. So let's go ahead and we'll take this on sign in function, and we will use this to actually know that something happened. So we'll just look at this in our browser for now. So, and let's format this properly. We'll put this here, and we'll go ahead and move this around. There we go. Oh. So that looks a little more tidy. Okay, so now that we've done this, let's go ahead and try our dev app server. And we're going to type devappserver.py with the current directory. We're going to give this a second to load up. There we go, just running the server here. So let's take a look. So we have our page, and if we go to login, we should see this. Now if we sign in, if we try to sign in right now, it's actually going to tell us, this isn't where I expected to see this come from. So you can actually take a look at this console and see, check the origins, but we're going to go ahead and just deploy this because we know it runs, we know it works. So we're going to kill our server here, just hit Control-C, and we're going to type gcloud app deploy. This will take our application and send it up to the great app engine in the sky, and we'll be able to take a look and see if this actually was able to do what we wanted it to do. So we've got the file upload happening. We're updating our service. Usually takes a couple of seconds. This is where I'd ad-lib and tell some jokes if I knew any good jokes. We'll go ahead and try to take a look at this in the meantime. See if this is loading. Yep, it's still loading, so we'll give it a second here. Still going. Eventually the service will be updated. Things on the internet are quite busy these days. Still going. Should only be 40 or 50 more minutes. So we're now setting up the traffic split, and looks like everything is good. So let's go ahead and take a look at our app, cs1520.appspot.com, and if we go to login, just to see if this works, we will show our JavaScript console. You can do that by going to View, Developer, JavaScript console. We'll see here, yeah, there's some information about cookies here. So let's click Sign In. And we should get the Google sign in, and I'm going to hit my username here. And here we go. So that's all the information you ever cared to know. It's all right there. So you can see this allowed us to sign in on the client side. We can actually verify the token and everything on the back end. So we'll do that in our next video. But for now, hopefully this helped you get through the Google authentication. Thank you for watching.